2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yo guys, Yoshi, and today's video, well, let's just say for the past week I have been testing multiple strategies and different things, and you know, at first when I was doing my tests I thought I figured out something with insta-kill, multiplying the damage somehow. Nope, turns out I think Mr. Waffles or Mr. Jarlic JD, one of those guys already figured that out. How do I not know that? I do not watch other zombie YouTubers. That's pretty much the only genre of YouTubers I don't watch. I watch like cooking, all that other stuff, but that's besides the point. So, as I usually test things out, I never usually film until I'm sure of like what I can achieve. So first off, we're gonna start with this damage, which I achieved. As you can see, it's 1.4 million damage. I'm pretty sure that was. That kind of surprised me. As you can see here, I was like, I'm like, what? I'm like, did I actually achieve that much damage, or was that in my mind? So, what you're about to see is quite a few trials and errors, and yeah. So, the basic key to bringing this all together is Ring of Fire and insta-kill. You will soon see why. This one I did a little better with about 3.5 million per shot, and like I just said, I will explain how this is achieved at the end of the video and like some other fun facts, stuff like that. So yeah, it turns out the Tempest and or any elite or mini boss enemies do like massive damage. Like the Mangler was one hitting the Megaton and like everything else. So pretty OP, but yeah. So you can see the key that brings us together is number one, this, and this is the one reason why I didn't choose to use Mimic. Yeah, so this one's about the same, I would assume. I'm pretty sure that's the same. I'm not going to cross-reference numbers. You'll soon see why, or I will eventually at the very end when I show that there. So this one's a little bit better. This one's a 6.6 million. Oh, the damage does not stop there because I was not satisfied. I was not satisfied because I wanted the perfect scenario, and that was 2 Tempests and insta-kill. That was the perfect scenario. Soon I do get it, but here's another one. This one actually turns out to be the max possible damage. Now, I was kind of sure that that was the max damage, but then I thought to myself, you know what, I gotta do this a few more times to test this out. And P.S., all these clips are from like at least 5 or 6 days of filming, so yeah, that's kind of my little trial and error thing there. So again, the same, pretty much the exact same number there. So I'm like 7 million. I'm like, what? I'm like, is that really 7 million? Dude, I absolutely just smoked the Manglers one hit. Yeah, this strategy pretty much will one hit anything with, except for the main bosses, which I'll talk about even later. So then, ladies and gentlemen, the miracle happened. The perfect scenario, 2 Tempests with the insta-kill. I was nervous here, let me tell you this right now. Perfect scenario, my heart's racing, like don't miss. And as you can see, my aiming's complete garbage, but that kind of helped boost because the longer you stay in Ring of Fire, more damage. And as you could see, I'm going to write that number on screen so we remember what it is. And right here, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see that's the same number, which means that that is the max cap possible damage possible so far. Now, I did a lot of other trials and errors, couldn't come up with a higher number or any number that topped that, so yeah. Alright, so yeah, you're probably wondering how on earth did I get such high damage? 7 million. That's crazy though. I'm like over expectations. It's over 7 million. So that's pretty crazy. So basically you're going to have ballistic knife. Now, the thing about the ballistic knife, the reason why I chose it is because, as you see on the firepower little bar there, it's fully maxed. Now, the 20mm with the good attachments is about 97-98% of that firepower bar, so I decided to go with ballistic knife, which you can easily unlock and or get in game. I don't know if you have to have it physically unlocked to actually be able to get it in the box. That I'm not sure. It's an easy challenge to get, but yeah. So the next category we're going to is the weapon classes category. Go down to specialist, and you want to max that out also, because that's also going to play a part in the multiplier damage. Then we'll move on to the field upgrades. Now, Ring of Fire plays a pretty big role in this damage, because I think Ring of Fire at max can do 5 times damage, because it says the longer you stand in there, the more damage you can do, but there has to be a cap to that, because as I demonstrated the last 2 Tempests I killed, the damage was the exact same, even though I stood in the Ring of Fire for a little bit longer between those 2, and the numbers stayed the same, so there's got to be some sort of cap. So yeah, just tier that up, good to go. And then the next are the perks. You're definitely going to want DEADSHOT DAIQUIRI maxed out, because that also plays a pretty important role. I think it'll do like a ×2 or something to it, so that'll also increase your damage. I don't know if Elemental Pop plays a role, but I kind of threw that in there too to mention, because I looked over all the perks and only Elemental Pop had some sort of damage increase in there, so not 100% sure, but I would tier that up also. Now, there's a lot to say. Now, the final key part is brain rot. You want to have that tier, the final tier, or maxed out, or, well, technically you don't need it maxed out, because the final, tier 5 just says, on death, that zombie turns other zombies, yada yada yada, boom boom boom. So, yeah. Oh, and you're probably wondering, why did I go with brain rot other than dead wire and or cryo freeze? Here's why. Main reason why I chose brain rot is because Napalm Burst does 1.5 times damage to Plague Hounds and or Manglers. Dead Wire does 1.5 times damage against the Megatons. Cryo Freeze does 1.5 times damage against Hellhounds. Shatter Blast, I would assume, does 1.5 times damage against any armor, so pretty much like any enemy with armor itself. And Brain Rot does 2 times damage against Mimics and Tempests. And like I said at the beginning, with the Ring of Fire, I chose Tempest because they stay stationary and shoot, while Mimics run at you and pretty much grapple and attack you. And yeah, what happens when you use this against the Orda? Well, first off, taking off the brain rot, I was gonna say dead wire or that other stuff, I got them mixed up, but yeah, taking off the brain rot, because that doesn't affect the Orda, you would still do about 3.5 million damage. Now, unfortunately, as you can see here, even fully packed legendary, it does about 2,000 and about 6,000 in critical hit. They reduced it, or ballistic knife is now pretty much the only weapon that has been exempt from actually doing massive damage to him, even when it's like fully packed. So yeah, that was about it for this video. I know, very long video. I'm gonna try to cut out a few things, but yeah, that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching, and just like always, peace. Video's over, it's done. Not exactly sure what you guys are still doing here. You know, you can click off to like another video at any time if you want to. You don't have to. You can just sit on this video and wait with me.
Now that's a lot of damage!